I'm Kim Donnelly from Premier Spending Planners. Now, I'm a spending planner, and what I do is I show people how to plan all their spending and how to reduce every single cost that they need to, so that they can get through the periods when they don't have enough money to pay all their bills. And this period in time, we don't know how long that is going to last, so we all need to be very vigilant to make sure that we can get through this period. Okay, so what I want to do is show you a spending plan in action, and I would like you to really watch this short little video, because it's going to be of great value to you moving forward. So this plan here, the income and expenses are very close together. They are spending about $1,400 in the year too much, but that's not too bad. It's probably only about $30 a week. So it's easy enough to reduce that amount. However, for this couple, they felt like they were really struggling and were just living week to week, because as you can see here, the green means you've got enough money in the bank to pay your bills, and for most of the year, this couple did not have enough money to pay the bills, and they were always robbing Peter to pay Paul. As soon as the pay came in, it was going back out again. Just give you a little bit of an idea in here. So just if this started mid-December, straight away a week later they're in trouble. They're not able to pay the insurance bill till the pay comes in, and then down here they're in this insurance bill. They're not able to pay the contents insurance and the school book. So if you can see here, they're in the red by $1,418. So that's a really bad period for them, and it is for most people after Christmas. So, and back to school. So just have a look at that. So the school books, they'd anticipated wanting to buy the school books that first week back after New Year on the 6th of January, and that is before a payday on the 7th. So it's often the problems are caused by the timing of when you pay your bills. So I'll elaborate a little bit further on that as we go along. But at that point, if they'd gone out to buy those school books, they couldn't have afforded them because they're already down, and that would have put them in an even bigger hole. See, going forward there, they're in the red for that whole period, and it was going to be a real struggle, starting right from January in here. Okay, so what I would do with people to correct this, and as I've seen, as you can see in here, the lowest balance displayed is $2,910 in the red in May. That's the worst day of the year. They don't have enough money the rest of the year as well, but that is the worst day. So we know we need to find them $2,910, or adjust the timing on all these expenses and adjust some of the expenses so that they're paying less. And I work with people on every single one of their expenses. So what I would do in this case is, for their weekly living account, which we ask people to transfer an amount and only live on that amount for the week, and if they run out, they run out and they don't get any more until the next pay comes in the next week. That might mean that for one day you may be struggling, but certainly not every day like that couple was. So I would suggest to these people that instead of paying $3.30 for food, they try and cut it back to $3.10. Same with their fuel, instead of $115, try and cut it back to $105. Their fund money, just temporarily for a little while, pull it back from $130 to $80. I'm sure you can still do certain things with $80 a week. You're not being cut off at the knees, as it were, and it is only for a period of time until you can get on top of these bills. Incidentals for takeaways and coffees, etc., if they could reduce that 80 down to 60. So all of those little reductions in their expenses add up to $100. So the transfer of money out of their bills account into their weekly account, I will change from $655 to $555. I will also go to their other transactions, and let me see, there was the school fees. I want to show you the school books. So what I would suggest to these people is that's going to be a problem. So The 6th was the day before payday, so I would suggest that on the 8th, they, instead of paying $900 for 3 weeks from the 8th, which was the day after the payday, the 15th, and sorry, that's March. The 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of January, for 3 weeks, they put aside $270 and just do shopping to that amount, or maybe even ask a shop if they can do lay-by and then pay it off and then collect them before school starts. They've still got everything covered before school starts on the 24th, after that. Now it's not annual. We're going to make that a weekly expense, 3 weeks, and just reduce those school costs of $900 down to about $810. There was also, if you remember, around that same time as the school books were due, there was an insurance due on the car. Here it is, on the 3rd of January. They had to pay $780 on contents insurance. So I would say to these people, before January came, start looking at getting an insurance policy that will allow you to make monthly payments at no extra cost. Make sure it's at no extra cost, otherwise it's costing you more money. So for this policy, I'm going to just say $60, because I know that usually I can get, if you go doing your homework, you'll be able to find a policy that's a little bit cheaper than what they're paying now. So even if they can get it for $720 instead of $780, that's $60 a month. So we'll change that annually to a monthly payment. And let's have a peek. Registration. So registration was due on the car, one of the cars, in February. That also is going to be a problem. So if we make that one, instead of paying it annually, we'll do 6 monthly and halve that. That's 350, 370, so 380. 6 monthly, and that will mean that they're saving about $300 there in that period when it was going to be a bit of a problem. School books, insurance. Okay, let's have a look and see what that's done for their plan. So the amount remaining hasn't changed by much, and that's what I haven't been trying to do that as yet. But if you go to their plan, look at that. You see? Just by doing that little bit of fine tuning and adjusting the timing of when the bills were paid and how they were paid, that means that this couple now have actually got a surplus of $3,781 instead of having a deficit, which they had at the start. And they are going to be over the moon, because instead of worrying about how they're going to be able to pay their bills almost every single day of the year, they can see that they are going to be covered every day, and they've got savings. You can see they've got savings accumulating up here. So that there, 29th of March, $228. Let's have a quick peek and see if we can do an adjustment there. And it's all in the timing, and if you don't have this software to help you, you just simply don't understand where you're going or how to get out of it. So the software shows you where the problems are, and as a spending planner, I show people what to do to get out of that problem at that particular time. So 20, end of March. So here, so there's one, so $228. Here's another registration. Okay, see, and an insurance. So if you did the same with the insurances and the registrations as we did with the others, that would mean that you wouldn't be in the red there, and you, let's change one of them. Registration. The second car, the one due in March. So instead of paying it in a lump sum, we'll pay it 6 monthly. And what that does is, there's only one little period right at the start for $12, and we can fix that up by just spending a little bit less on food or something. So as you can see, that whole plan has now been pulled into line, and they are covered for every single bill for every single day of the year. So However, when people work with me, life is never going to run as smooth as this for the next 12 months. There are always unexpected expenses coming up, and in this period when we're all going to be having constrained wages, for sure you can bet that the day that you, or the week that you don't have any money, that's when something terrible is going to happen. So I work with people who come to me, they think everything's going fine, and every month or 2 or 3 months something goes wrong, and they come to me and say, how can we fix this? And what I'll do in this situation is give you a couple of examples of that. So for example, I have a friend at the moment who, her child has just been admitted to hospital unexpectedly, and I don't know what their medical bill is going to be, but let's just assume that out of pocket they might be at just over $1,000. So we will assume that something like that happens in June. Got another little one. If something awful happens, like your dog gets attacked, it's something that you've got no control of and it just happens. These things are going to put a spanner in the works, and you won't know how to deal with those in this trying period when our incomes are probably going to be reduced. So if we look in the plan now and see the effects of that, we can see more red periods. So as it says here, worst balance on the 27th of the 4th, and other periods. There are going to be periods where they're not going to be able to pay their bills. So just like I did with those other expenses, I will work with people and see what bills are coming up, where we can adjust those bills so that they are no longer in the red and they can pay all their bills on time, and this relieves so much stress from people, it's not funny. So I'm going to change this wage. So I've worked on this wage for one person being reduced down from $11.57 to possibly down to $700 per week. Now that is a strong possibility we have to be prepared for, and people simply don't understand how that's going to affect them because they can't see this future forecasting. Well, this is going to show you just what that will do. So before we were a bit ahead, and that's going to mean they're going to be down $27,838, and that's the result. So this is why I say to people, you need to be doing something about this now before you get into this situation. You need to be examining every single expense and knowing where you can reduce it and by how much, and doing it now so that you have some cash reserves so that if something like this happens, we'll be able to fix it much more easily. So as you can see here, straight away they're in the red, all the brackets, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So what we will do then is talk with you about your essential expenses, what the bills are that you have to pay that you can't get out of, and we will find a way to make this plan work for you so that you can have all your bills covered, still be able to have food in the fridge, be healthy, have your roof over your head, and be able to get through this period in as smooth a way as possible. So if you are experiencing any of these issues yourself, you really do need to be calling me now. You can call me on 0416 189 762, and I will work with you very closely to make sure that you get through this period in as easy a way as possible, and that you will not be stressing. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.